Okay guys, so parts finally came in. Got 2.5. So we're gonna yank this thing apart here and replace the piston and sleeve. It's a Revo air filter I got for a couple bucks. But anyways, so what the problem is, it runs fine when it's cold, but as soon as it warms up, it loses compression, which means the piston and sleeve are in the need for replacement. So people have asked me, oh, what's that color? It's just the color of the fuel. It's nothing to worry about. I've heard some people say, I think it was what is it, Nitro, or is it RC for Life 420, I think is his channel. Someone says, oh, my 2.5 only lasts about a gallon or something from what I remember. And I thought to myself, well, it's not the fact they're a bad engine. It's what it is the braking process it's designed to shorten the engine life a lot. So with these, what you want to do is preheat the engine before you start it, and you want to do like about 4 idle tanks and then start to drive it, roughly about a quart of fuel, then start to tune for performance. Something similar to the Adam Drake braking method, and it will make them last a whole lot longer, because TRX is going to start the cold engine and drive it right away. Quick machining process. Yeah, not really that good to do that, but that's what they want. So, sleeve and piston are already finished, but don't use metal like I'm about to do, so just forget that. But we're just going to push up on the bottom of the sleeve a little bit and pop that out. Yeah, don't do this with a brand new sleeve, because obviously you're going to damage things. It's just, I don't care, because this sleeve is just, it's slingshot ammo, so I don't really care. There's that. Nice looking serial crank in there. Pretty lovely. Huh. See, there's a problem with that rear bearing. That's not good. That rear bearing is skidding. And it shouldn't be. Probably because it sat with fuel in it for a while. So a lot of people ask me, what brand of bearings I go with. I usually go with Acers because they're really good. Here's a closer look at that crank. Pretty nice stuff. Massive intake window, holy cow. So this engine's going to be running soon, so we're just going to use a little Klotz Benel here to put it together. And I am going to be reusing this connecting rod since it only has like about 4 tanks on it, so it's not worn out yet. But when you replace the piston and sleeve in one of these, replace the bearings, wrist pin, and rod all at the same time. Don't just put a new piston and sleeve in an old rod, because it won't last. It'll go pop real quick on you. So, let's see here. It looks like, oh yeah, they're still pinched, like it looks like that, but if you look at the back side of the piston, you can see there's a line on it. And it goes way up, so when that heats up, it loses compression, and yeah, that's the end of it. So, and also if you look at the piston, see all that play? A lot of people think, well, just get it repinched, dude. I'm like, well, I mean, by the time I spend $70 having it repinched, you can spend 70 bucks and buy a new one, right? Doesn't make any sense. So these are the pliers I use right here. 32410 is the part number. We're going to take and remove. I need to get a new one soon because these ones are pretty worn out. That clip right here, you want to grab the center tang. Grab that and just roll it out. And there you go. So the new piston came with new clips, so we're going to use a new clip. And remember, so the side with the chamfer, on this side of the rod, the oil hole, the open side of the piston pin, and this skirt cutout all face on the same direction, because if you put that rod together backwards or the pin in backwards, bad things will happen. So remember, the oil hole here, the cutout side, and the open side of the wrist pin all face the same direction. And if you put things together right, you will be just fine. Yeah, so Just an old piston there, so we're just going to check. Clean everything up here. Just a little discoloration, but it's fine. Check the top of this rod. Yeah, it feels absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Just a brand new rod there, just in case. So we're going to reuse that. We got our piston here, and we got our new clips. At least they give you two of them, which is really nice, because a lot of the times they go boing and they fly away on you. So what I can suggest is, actually I'm going to put a paper towel down so you guys can see easier. What I can suggest doing is getting like a big Glad Ziploc bag or something like that, when you can fit both your hands in and your engine, and oops, don't lose that, and work inside there. That way, if you do lose your clip, it doesn't go flying away across the room and you never find it again. Because there's that spider in the corner that's eyeing that thing up, and he's going to take it and run away with it. We're going to try to get his bag here. Doing perfect. There we go. New clip right there. I wish they just sell big bags of these clips. I don't know. I've never been able to find any. I know you can buy them separately, but they want some stupid amount of money. All right. Onward here. So, oh, it sounds like the landscaper showed up. Here's our rod with the oil hole. And we got our castor oil. This is like I said, a very highly stressed part. So usually what I do with any 3.3 or 2.5 is after the first, well, maybe roughly gallon of fuel, is pull the engine apart, replace the rod, wrist pin and bearings. That way it tightens everything back up again. It makes the engine like new, and it keeps the rod from splitting. So I take that. We're going to take a little bit of oil, put them in the pin bores, because like I said, you want nothing to go together dry. You can see our oil hole on the cutout side of the piston. And remember, this is a captured wrist pin. The hole in the wrist pin faces the same side as the cutout. Always. Because if you don't, bad things might happen. Oh, now I'm gonna do it all slippery. There we go, and it slid right in just like you bought at dinner. We're gonna take our Allen key, push that in, because if you put the clip the opposite way around, you won't be able to get it in or out. Or you can get them in, but getting it out is a completely different story. Ah, it's just castor oil. It's biodegradable. Smells good. Another thing that will prolong your engine life, regardless of what people say, is if you take, say, buy your fuel at, say, I don't know, 8% oil, 8 or 9% oil, and you bump it to like 10 or 11. Usually I buy them at 8, or try to buy it at 8 and then go to 10 with some castor oil. It'll increase the film strength of fuel and make things last longer, especially with the 2.5s and 3.3s. Just trying to grab that. The teeth on my pliers are pretty worn, so there we go. There, you can kind of see. Oh, come on, focus, fuck stick. There you go. See it? So we're going to go the inside first. We're going to roll it in. Trying not to get my hands in the way here, because last time someone freaked out at me for that. Your hand was in the way. I'm giving you a thumbs down. Oh, get out of here, you pleb. I'll try to flip these pliers around here. That might work. So you don't want to distort the clip either. But it's the teeth on the clip that are, or the teeth on the pliers that are worn. There we go. All right. So we're going to go and roll, push the inside in and roll. If that makes sense. If you have a little bit of thumbnails, yeah, you might have to use a different set of pliers. These ones are proving to be not as good as what they once were. These pliers have done hundreds and hundreds of engines. Let's see here. I've been trying to get this fucking thing to go here, and it's been a pain in the ass because I'm videotaping it. I think I got it. I think. Did I? Oh, just. Nope, pop back out again. Fuck. Okay, hold on, guys. I know this is kind of tedious to watch. It's irritating as well because I hate doing things again and again. Let's try a different set of pliers here. Might have better luck with that. Someone also recently, you put your piston and sleeve in wrong. No, I don't. There, let's try it. These ones got a bit of a better bite. And yeah, I'm definitely going to definitely going to the tool store here in the next few days and buying some new pliers. These ones are all shitty. There we go, it's in, finally. That's what she said. And just carefully, here, click. Push on that clip just to make sure it's seated all the way around, and push on the opposite side. You don't have to push super hard, but just a little bit to ensure that clip is fully seated in there. I know it's kind of hard. It was hard for me to do the whole thing because the pliers are terrible, but you can see it. If that clip is kind of sitting like sideways, or it looks like it's trying to jump out, you didn't get it in right. But like I said, a quality set of pliers helps a lot. And as you can see by these ones, they're pretty worn out. I'm just gonna double make sure here. Yep, we're good. Nothing worse than you put something together and you stay up all night wondering if you did it right. Okay. Let's put some oil in our crank. You don't want to stick your crank in dry. I don't like that. Take some of our oil right down to that bearing down there. Because like I said, these are like highly stressed parts. I mean, you gotta think of how freaking fast these things are ripping around in there, right? Take our crank. Just like butter. Perfect. Really good. Really, really nice. This Klotz is quite heavy. The thing is, the only reason I'm using the Klotz right now and not just like say normal motor oil is because they're going to be starting this soon. If this engine was going to be put into storage, I'd use a different oil. Because this, if you let it sit for too long, will get sticky. And I guess I picked a shitty time to start filming. Anyway, so a little bit more oil up in that wrist pin area. Just to over oil it to annoy the haters. Because like I said, that's a lot of stress in there. Oil your bottom pin more, like that. Oops, oh, extra oil. That's okay. And if you look, the cutout side of the piston always faces the carburetor side like this. So if you're not sure, if you open the exhaust port and you see the cutout side, you put it in wrong. So you want to make sure the cutout side always faces the front of the block. So we're gonna go drop our connecting rod into the block. This video's kind of all over the place, I know. My apologies. We're just going to grab our rod. I'm trying to do this look through the thing at the same time is kind of a pain in the ass. Pick the rod up and drop it onto the crank. Like that. See? Nice and lovely. Someone said, oh, you should have your piston all the way at the top. Well, sometimes it can be a bit of a pain in the ass. So I usually have about halfway down. Started enough oil on my fingers. Sleeve. Line up the pins. Sometimes sleeves can be a little bit picky to go in. Well, you're damaging it if you do it like that. No, you won't. I have yet to damage any engine doing that. There we go. I've yet to see that happen. Oh, got the piston stuck sideways there. My fingers are oily, so I can't feel what I'm doing. There we go. And there, all done. Nice and smooth. I don't want to go up all the way at the top and get it stuck, but there you go. That's how to do it. So, lesson learned here. A good quality set of pliers is a must. You want the kind with like little grippy teeth on them, like that. Yeah, these are even worn out. So, yeah, you get the idea. Anyways, so make sure your head gasket is there. It is reusable. Not a problem. Oh, it smells so good over here right now because that clots. Take a little spray lube there, doesn't matter what kind. Actually, there's a bunch of shit down there. I should clean that out. And the shit that I was referring to was around the glow plug hole. Because you don't want there to be any junk in there, because if there is, it'll get down inside your engine when you take the glow plug out, and that's just not freaking good. Take all our screws. But yeah, like I said, with the braking process, don't follow anything Traxxas says. Don't use their fuel. Don't use their braking process. Like I said, they want it to be hard and fast, so that way you, the customer, has to buy a brand new engine all the time. Because this engine here, from when I got it from Hot Hoopty Nitro a couple of years back, or it was the other one, I can't remember, one of the two, had probably, oh, I don't know, maybe close to 8 gallons on it. So, and it still ran. Braking process, crucial. And you want to go in a star pattern, like you're tightening the wheels on a car lug nut, or car lug nuts. Little bit by little bit. And it's just that easy. We're going to go for manufactured recommended torque specification, which is click, click, clit, click, and click. All done. So there will be a first start video on this engine here. Don't use your clutch nut. Also, the front bearing does not seal the engine. So if someone goes, oh, you need to replace the front bearing, it's leaking. If it's always leaking, it's because you're tuning your low speed needle too rich and the engine's constantly loaded with fuel. And it has nowhere to go, so it pushes past the front bearing. You can replace that front bearing as many times as you want. It'll always leak if you're tuning too rich. So a lot of the times hobby shops will tell you that to upsell you on brand new bearings. Oh yeah, oh, that bearing shot. Yep, you need another one. Freaking, oh yeah, buy an OS8 glow plug and you throw it in your 2.5, you know, whatever. No. Like the N4s are too short, or whatever the hell those are. I don't even know who makes them. But those are too short. Like I said, the Traxxas engines, like the OS-LC3, the plug temperature does not dictate how hot the engine runs. You don't need to switch plugs for how hot or how cold it is outside either. There's a hot day, you don't put a cold plug in because cold plugs require leaner tuning. And on hot days, requires leaner tuning because there's less oxygen in the air. Old David Macaroni will try to tell you otherwise. Freaking idiot. Guy doesn't believe that the air density changes in the winter and there's more oxygen in the air. I tried to talk to him about that and he had a mental breakdown just about. Or that if you change elevation, the air is different. No, wrong. Didn't want to believe it. It's like, buddy, it's all over the internet. It's been in books for thousands of years. Yeah, it's because you're stunned. Make sure everything turns over nice and smooth. And I'm sure you guys know what it looks like to put a pull starter back on, but when you're about to do that, it's a good time to take some brake parts cleaner and a Q-tip and clean out your one-way bearing. And take a little 3000 sandpaper and just that's it, no more. Don't go using grinders on here because you'll put big divots in here and chew up the one-way bearing. Anyways, guys, hopefully that helps some of you guys that might be a little bit nervous about changing pistons and sleeves and stuff. Like I said, we were reusing the old rod because it's only got 4 tanks on it. But once this engine is broken in, probably half a gallon, something like that, we'll take it out and we'll put a brand new rod in there. It sucks that there's no one making aftermarket rods anymore, but the 2.5s don't usually split rods. And the reason because is the reciprocating mass is a lot less than a 3.3, right? The piston is physically a lot smaller, so there's less mass. What happens is this here starts to get egg-shaped, and the piston hammers it. And because of where the oil hole is, which there's nothing wrong with that, it's just how thin they've machined it and channeled it out like that, is it just splits. These rods used to look a lot different years ago. Anyways, guys, hopefully that helps, and happy Friday, and hopefully everyone has an awesome weekend, and get out there and burn some nitro. As always, guys, later.